The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin, I'm Michael Watching, and this is the Eagles Sports Network. Carson-Newman gets set to take on Tusculum this weekend in a 3-game set here at home. And, Coach, there's a midlife crisis. Well, maybe you guys are having maybe a mid-season crisis on some respects. But at the same time, as we mentioned a couple weeks ago, there's going to be times where you guys aren't playing your best baseball in a 50-game season. There's going to be some lulls in there. How have you handled this stretch with your team, and how have you seen them come out with that win on Tuesday against King to kind of put all those losses behind them?
Well, first, Michael, it's great to see you again. It's been a while. I know you've been busy with coverage of intramural athletics and some other
highly competitive stuff.
Highly competitive. I know what you said earlier, but it is good to see you again. How we handled it, I've slept like a baby. I've woke up every 3 hours and cried. So it's been that's a Lou Holtzism, by the way. We try to take it one day at a time, and we talk about adversity. And I think all coaches talk about how adversity and learning from it. I think our guys have learned from it. I think that a true test of your culture and your program is when you're going through some tough stretches, what do they do day to day? Not the game part, but what are they doing during training? What are they doing on a Monday, on an off day, let's say? Well, I can say this, and our staff and players know this. They have done an exceptional job staying with what they're supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis, which means that their energy level in practice, their intent and their focus, their enthusiasm and passion has been tremendous. Now, one of that was Catawba. We got back pretty late on Sunday. We were going to take Wednesday off. We had a game Tuesday. Monday's practice was tremendous. Now, I think that has to do with your upperclassmen who basically set the tone of, hey, we're here to get something done, be productive, get 1% better, but do it like we're enjoying it versus like we have to do this. No, we get to do it. And so that has been so reassuring for the coaching staff, and I hope for the team, and I know it has been, that we can't control, the losses have happened. Okay, it's over. What are we going to learn from them? But it's really about what are we going to do today to be our best? And that's what we want our guys to control. As a coach, that's the things I've got to be concerned with the staff and the players, is we focus on one pitch at a time and we focus on the present, not the past and not the future.
You mentioned learning from those games. There have been some really tight games in there. You mentioned the other day that it was the freebie war that ended up costing you. What have you learned from these last couple games that you're trying to correct here this weekend?
Well, I know that Catawba is extremely well coached, and they are really good players, and they make very little mistakes. I have learned that about Catawba. And, you watch other clubs play, and you learn as a coach. You watch, and you're like, all right, what's going on there? What are some things that we have to maybe implement? And we're constant learners. So I think we learn by watching teams and what they do well and being like, is that something that we can add or something we need to do? It is the freebie war. That's one of the statistics, and that's your walks, the stolen bases, the errors, to a certain extent, throws that go to the wrong base and a runner gets in scoring position. All those little things. Against Catawba game 1, we were not good at that. And so that's the thing we want to do, take care of the baseball. Be able to catch it, throw it, keep it simple. We want guys to make extraordinary plays, but we've got to make sure we're doing the routine things first so that we don't create that disparity between freebies. I think pitching-wise, we've done a really good job on the mound. The consistency of 3 starters giving us 3 good outings, that's something that's going to happen. I don't think we've gotten that yet, but not every club does as well. And then if that doesn't happen, what's your offense doing? We've talked about our matchups. Are we doing a good job on our matchups of who's throwing against who? You question a lot of stuff when you lose games. You don't question a thing when you're winning. Obviously, if you're losing, you're thinking, well, there's something wrong. And sometimes as a coach, you got to be careful that you don't try to do too much to change because it's just a game of baseball. You had 2 teams, 2 weekends that played much better than us, and that's why they won the ball game. It's nothing that I don't think we don't have to change, but you're right. There's some things you think about more for the coaches. For the players, just do what they're doing.
You look at Tusculum on the other side, rough start to the year, but they've gotten hot here of late. Charles Hall has struck out double-digit batters in each of his last 6. You'll see him Friday night. How important is it for your team to put the ball in play and then to get some of those extra bases, be a stolen base, just smart base running this weekend?
Well, listen, this group of coaches have been very successful. Coach Ireland, Coach Steele, they've been together for a long time. They have been a part of the success that Tusculum has had. Added Coach Miller from Belmont Abbey, who comes from an outstanding program. The staff is great, and they're great people, and they're well coached. They're playing with good energy. They know the guy on Friday night is there Clayton Kershaw. I mean, they know what they're going to get. And when you got a guy like that, you play with a lot of confidence and bravado, and you feel good about your outcome. So, yeah, that's a great challenge. All we can control, again, is the baseball. We can't worry about what Mr. Hall does. We know he's going to throw a baseball at us. It weighs 5 ounces. And when that thing comes in, we've got to make sure in the strike zone that we're being aggressive, putting balls in play. He's going to strike out guys. He's a strikeout pitcher. That's going to happen. So if you strike, that's part of it. Now, would you like to limit it? Of course. And I think that's going to be important for us. But again, take care of the baseball when we're fielding it. Try to put some pressure on them. But that's what we've got to do for any pitcher. Obviously most kids look at this and like an Ethan Elliott or a Shepard. There's guys you're like, oh, this guy's really good. And you want to amp it up a little bit. That's good. But we want to do that with every pitcher because you ought to respect every guy that's on that mound and raise your game up of, yeah, this is a challenge. It doesn't matter what pitcher it is. It should be any pitcher that we want to do that with.
Coach, appreciate the time. We'll see you this weekend.
Well, thank you. I know we're in the NCAAs. Your final 4 picks.
Well, in my dream scenario, Marquette gets there, but they don't. I'll take Michigan State. I'll take Gonzaga, North Carolina, and Tennessee. What about you?
Okay. Well, in case you didn't know, it's an NCAA violation to do any type of gambling on the NCAA, so I'm going to avoid giving you any picks. So I don't know if that
you can make selections. We're not gambling here. We're just saying who we think can make it.
Well, I got all favorites, and I'll tell you why. I thought last year there were some Cinderellas. I don't think we're going to see that this year. I think there's going to be a ton of favorites working their way through. I don't have all number ones at the top, but, I got Houston. I like Houston. You call it a dark horse, maybe it's a high seed, but Houston is one of those clubs I'm looking at to make a really good run.
All right. There's our final 4 picks, at least mine. He's Tom Griffin. I'm Michael Watchering, and this is the Eagle Sports Network.